The Seahorse Effect by Sierra Steinbrecher. Chapter 23. Padme's Dilemma. Padme sank down into her favorite chair in the living room and slowly started to remove the multitude of pins holding her elaborate hairstyle in place. The senatorial robes were fine, really, but why did the dress code insist on these outrageous coiffures? She would have been much happier with a simple bun. She smiled as they gently eased out the 10th pin. That was something to teach her daughter. Hair practicality. Once her hair was free, she walked over to where her message pad was flashing. Good, it looked like Annie had called her back, and it was a holo message instead of just an audio one. Discreetly locking her door and tinting the windows, she clicked the view button on the pad, and a blue projection lit up the darkened living room. Padme smiled with a contented grin and rather more convex stomach on her husband as he said, "Hi, Padme. I got your message, and I'm happy Obi-Wan caught General Grievous. And don't be so worried. If the Chancellor doesn't give back his emergency powers, I'm sure you'll make the Senate change their minds, and the Council can always help with that." His smile turned mischievous, and she rolled her eyes fondly at his gentle poke at the Council. "I've been meditating more lately since..." And his cheeks flushed. "I can't really practice my katas right now, and sitting still seems to calm the twins down. I think Leia likes kicking me when I move too much, although Luke's the real problem. For some reason, he likes somersaults, and it kind of makes me nauseous when he does that." He looked down at his feet, pressed a hand to the now quite sizable bump, and smiled, still blushing. "Anyway, about 2 days ago..." He looked back up with the same smile he'd had when she first told him about the twins. "I think I felt Luke." She gasped. "Padme, I think he's force sensitive. I don't know about Leia, not yet, but I definitely felt Luke." She watched as a hand nervously ran over his expanded middle. "Do you think that maybe once the twins are born I could bring Luke to the temple? The Jedi takes infants sometimes, especially orphans. I could say his parents fought in the war or something. They would even let me train him, and..." Padme shut off the message and fell back into her chair as the automatic lighting came on. She'd actually gotten the chair because Anakin had said it was like the ones the Jedi Council used. Would my son sit in one of those chairs someday? But that might mean giving up all contact with him, or at least a good bit of it. And if Luke was force-sensitive and Leia was not, would they have to separate the twins? She would take the girl and Annie the boy? She hated the very idea. Growing up as an only child, Padme had always wanted siblings. Anakin had too. They'd both been so happy when they'd found out they were having twins, and now they might have to separate them. Padme remembered Anakin's smiling face in the message and wanted to cry. How could he be so happy about something that would take at least one of her children away from her? But if they stayed together, Annie wouldn't be able to see them. He and I could barely stay in contact, she thought. Some of it was due to the war, she knew, but it had been worse before that. They'd gone for years without contact. If Luke did go into the Jedi Order, he could at least see his father around, and even more if he was apprenticed to Annie. And I'd have Leia, Padme admonished herself. Maybe I could retire from the Senate and go live somewhere where Annie and Luke could visit without it looking too suspicious. It would be just like now, only with her in Anakin's place and with the twins. I suppose I'll take what I can get. She leaned back in her chair and closed her eyes.